morning, everyone. It's a real privilege to be here today as part of the Inter-Celtic Business Forum. An introduction, my name is Declan Ivory. I run customer support for an organisation called Intercom, which is an Irish-founded company. Probably not too many people in the room have heard about Intercom. I'll share a little bit more about Intercom's background as we go on through the presentation this morning. But what I do want to focus on is really Celtic innovation. And Celtic innovation in the area of applying AI to customer service and customer support. Every one of us from a business and a personal point of view have customer support experiences. And I think you would probably acknowledge that over the period of several decades, there's been very little real innovation applied to delivering customer support. With some of the recent advances in AI, particularly generative AI and agentic AI, there is now the possibility to radically transform how customer support and customer service is delivered. And what I want to go through today is some of the background to that, some of the work that we're doing at Intercom from an innovation point of view. And because I run a customer support organization, I can also share some of the benefits that we're seeing in the real world application of this technology to deliver support on a day-to-day basis. This statement, AI will change almost everything we do in some ways, and some things we do in every way, was kind of pushed out there when generative AI became a thing with ChatGPT in late 2022. And people began to realize that this was a fundamental change in both the power of AI, the accessibility of AI as well, and the scope to which it could be applied. And I think we're all beginning to realize this is absolutely true. I think everyone in some ways using AI in their personal life and in their business life. But when ChatGPT was launched, there was some kind of views, well, what aspects of what we do today, the activities we engage in, will really be fundamentally changed? And obviously, generating code was one of the key ones that people focused on. And AI has become, really instrumental to how organizations are building code, developing code, and shipping code. But one of the other areas that was called out very early on, and Sam Altman was one of the people who called this out, customer service, customer support was an activity that was absolutely ready to be transformed by the power and the capabilities that generative AI was offering. And today, customer service is already changed in every imaginable way. That's quite a bold statement, but there are organizations who have understood the potential of AI to change how you interact with your customers and how you deliver customer service and customer support. And they've really embraced the opportunity to go down that transformation road. And that is actually happening for many organizations today. But when I say many, what do I mean? So we've done some research recently, and while 84% of the organizations that we spoke to have already embraced AI in some way for customer service or customer support, only about 10% have actually deployed it at a very deep level within their organization and within their customer base. And what do we mean by delivering at a deep level? So this chart is an interesting chart. So prior to 2023, when ChatGPT became generally available, generally most customer support, customer service activity was serviced by humans. There was some focus on self-servability. There was some kind of what people just call containment or deflection of support using chatbots. But it was very minimal. Generally, the bulk of work was still done by humans. With the launch of ChatGPT and the foundational change in, as I say, the accessibility, scope, and the power of AI, all of a sudden you can think about using an AI agent to actually interact with your customers and deliver a really, really good customer experience and answer many of the questions that customers have day in, day out, but also complete tasks and work on behalf of the customer. So now you're seeing a situation where over time, the vast majority of customer service activities will be managed by AI agent, with humans getting involved in the more nuanced, more critical, deep activities from a relationship point of view that you want to engage with your customers on. For 10% of organizations, they are very much in this phase where the majority of the customer interactions that they have today are managed by an AI agent. Now, the top of the chart on the right is interesting as well. When you reduce the friction with which your customers can engage with you from a customer service point of view, all of a sudden you see the demand for that customer service increase. And we're also seeing that dynamic as well, that the overall demand for customers to engage with customer service when it's fronted by an AI agent is actually increasing because it is such a good experience. So when I say deep deployment, it is actually organizations who are doing the vast majority of their customer interactions via an AI agent, and that is possible because of the power of AI. Now I will talk a little bit about Intercom. So where does Intercom fit into the story? So Intercom is an Irish-founded organization back in 2021. It built its reputation on building what's now deemed the business messenger. So the little icon in the bottom right-hand part of many applications where you can chat with whatever organization you're dealing with, that technology was pioneered and delivered by Intercom. Over time, we built a full customer service platform on top of that. We had already built quite a bit of AI ML into our platform prior to ChatGPT being launched. But when ChatGPT launched and we saw the capability and the power of generative AI to really allow an AI agent to engage differently with customers, we launched what we called an AI-first strategy for our business. And we built Fin, which is an AI agent built on generative AI technologies. And basically, we have built the next-gen help desk, including, as I say, an industry-leading AI agent. And it's a real-world example of Celtic innovation. So this is a company founded in Ireland, 4 Irish founders. They've grown this organization. They have delivered multiple iterations of innovation. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the innovation that we're still delivering. But in 2023, making a really intentional business pivot to move from being a traditional SaaS business to being an AI forward or an AI first business has allowed us to really invest heavily from an innovation point of view and deliver industry-leading technology such as Fin and really shape the industry from a customer service point of view. So if we think about the evolution of automation in customer support or customer service, and I mentioned some of this already, like we did in the past have what are now being called basic bots. If you think about from 2000s through to 2010s, and they were very limited in terms of capability. They tended to be kind of quite dumb, decision tree based. We then moved into smart assistants, which were kind of using ML type techniques to look at canned responses, answer more efficiently for customers. Then from 2022 onwards, we really began to see the power of large language models to engage in a very natural and conversational way with customers, to answer informational queries very well. And that was really the advent of an AI-first, AI-driven customer service approach. And we launched Fin within 4 months of ChatGPT being released. And in fact, we were the first commercial application launched on GPT-4 when it became available. We have developed our Fin capability over time, and we now address what we call the full customer lifecycle. So we have autonomous agents that will not only answer questions, but will also carry out work on behalf of customers. So they will complete tasks on behalf of customers. And we also move well beyond customer service as well. So we now have technology that will do part of the sales cycle, the success cycle, billing operations. We can look at the complete customer life cycle. And that's all innovation that has been built out of a Celtic business. So what do we mean when we talk about automation from a customer service point of view? I mentioned informational, answering questions on behalf of customers, absolutely fundamental. Personalizing those interactions with your customers, where you're accessing underlying business systems and operation systems, and then going all the way to completing actions and tasks on behalf of customers. This is the real world that we're in when it comes to delivering customer service and when it comes to engaging with customers throughout their life cycle. Gartner have a phrase that they call the intelligent front door, and that intelligent front door is an AI agent that is interfacing with customers and carrying out most of the work that that customer wants, whether that's a question being answered or whether it's an activity being completed. So where does Intercom build the innovation? We started at what's called the AI layer. So we built Fin, an AI agent to interface with customers. We use things like RAG, and we've developed other systems that help us with carrying out actions and tasks on behalf of customers. So we've shown a lot of innovation at the AI layer. We built a lot of innovation at the application layer. So we've built a whole ecosystem to manage Fin and manage how you customize and make Fin represent your business. So it implements your policies, it represents your tone and your brand. So really critical that we've built that, what we call Fin Insights. We kind of term it the Fin flywheel. It's driving continuous improvement of AI over time. Because AI is not a single one and done implementation. it needs to be constantly improved over time. You need to focus on things like content management, knowledge management. Conversation design has become a discipline that didn't exist before generative AI. In fact, we were one of the first organizations in the world to hire in a conversation designer for support. But more recently, we've gone down to the model layer. Like, large language model providers give us core capability, but there are so many different tasks that need to be undertaken when a customer asks a question to when you finally present an answer or carry out work on their behalf, that we've built multiple custom models ourselves, including in the last couple of weeks, we've launched the first fully vertically integrated large language model for customer service, where we've post-trained a model using all of the customer service interactions that we've had over the last number of years. And it's the first time there's been a specific model focused on customer service. And we call it Apex 1.0. And we've made that available not just within our own products, but we've actually opened API access to it. So anyone can use that customer service model to build their own AI layer, build their own application layer as well. So that's the technical innovation. And Intercom has been at the forefront of that. And it's a real-world example of Celtic innovation, where we're getting world recognition for the innovation that we have delivered through Fin and through what we're building in terms of our model layer as well. And it's great to see that it, really being centered, in our case, out of Dublin. The vast majority of our engineering capability is based in Dublin, and we've developed all this information as a Celtic nation. But when it comes to scaling AI for customer service and customer support, technology is important. But just as important is what I call practitioner innovation. So how do you make sure you apply it in a way that you can scale it out and manage the vast majority of the work that you do on behalf of customers? And that takes a lot of intention. So you really have to have an AI-first mindset. You have to rethink how you deliver support. So it's not just about incrementally changing how you deliver support. You've got to think about it radically differently. Even the people that you hire into your support organization, they need different skills, different capabilities. You have to have new parts of your organization just managing the AI agent layer. So in my case, I've implemented a whole AI support team, and they are just responsible for managing AI. And there are new roles, new career opportunities. So while people said customer service roles will disappear, quite the contrary, new roles are appearing. Existing roles are actually changing and becoming much more valuable for the people who are carrying out the work. And we've enshrined all of the learnings that we have in our own internal support organization. So the organization that I run got access to this technology before anyone else got access to it. We didn't have a blueprint, we didn't have best practice, and we've had to build that up from scratch. We've now published it in conjunction with some of our key customers, and we make that available to anyone who wants to understand what do you need to do to scale AI for customer service. And we've broken into how do you initially launch it and drive a proof of concept, and then how do you scale it to get this situation where it's managing the majority of what you the work that you do for customers. And when I talk about the customers who have collaborated with us, because people ask me, well, who are some of your customers? I think the most kind of interesting one is Anthropic. So Anthropic are one of our customers. So this is one of the largest large language model providers in the world. And they have made a very conscious decision to use our technology in terms of how they deliver their own customer support. And again, we have other examples of large organizations choosing to use our technology rather than build it themselves. So what has it done for our own support organization at Intercom? So we've now reached a situation where if we look back from kind of late 2023 through to kind of late 2026, we are now automating more than 80% of every single customer interaction. And in fact, this month we've actually hit 84% automation rate. And that's quite a phenomenal place to be, because it's not just about doing the contact more efficiently, it's actually about delivering a better customer experience. An example of delivering that customer experience is that we really want to understand every single interaction that we have, is it actually delivering well for our customers? And this is the value that we've delivered, basically. We've improved the customer experience because it's not automation for automation's sake or AI for AI's sake. It was all about, can we deliver a better customer experience? The technology is available 24 hours a day. It's totally scalable. We have 43 different languages that are supported by Fin. And after today, I think there's some other languages we may want to look at in Fin. We built this concept of customer experience core. We can measure every single customer interaction. And again, using AI, assess whether we did a good job on behalf of that customer or not. And that kind of fundamentally means that we can always know that we're delivering a really good level of support. We've committed elevated service levels for our customers. So we've totally rewritten our standard support policy because we can now deliver better for our customers. More efficient scaling. So we have absorbed more than 70% growth year on year for the last couple of years, and we haven't added additional resources to our team. So again, we have really scaled in a very effective way. And the financial impact. So our CFO asked us recently, well, if you didn't have Finn, how many more people would you need on your team? So I have a team of about 125 people. I would need to add at least 100 more people to the team if I was trying to deliver the same service levels with humans rather than through AI. And in that case, that would be a cost to the business of somewhere between 7 and 9 million. But not only that, we're getting our humans to actually add more value to the interactions with customers, and we're driving this concept of what we call consultative support. And now we can actually talk about revenue that we directly earn through the consultative work and also revenue that we influence. And even though we've done it only on a small scale through 2026, we've already influenced multiple millions of revenue for the business. So what's our vision? Like every business will have a single customer-facing AI agent running the entirety of customer communications. That's the vision we have, and it is very much a reality for many of the customers that we're dealing with today. But only 10% have adopted at scale, and the opportunity is huge to go beyond that. And finally, if you want to read more, we have Fin.ai ideas. It goes into a lot of detail around the innovation that Intercom has brought to this space. It's not necessarily all product focused, but it's generic innovation that many companies can learn from and adopt, because we've had to change our own business models as well, quite apart from changing the technology. And that's all kind of talked about in our ideas blog. So thank you for the time to present some Celtic innovation today. Happy to chat more in the breaks, and go Rev Magat, to use a well-worn phrase this morning.